Hi, I'm ERIN Clarke from wellplated.com, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make my healthy Mediterranean pasta. I share a brand new recipe here every week, so be sure that you like, subscribe, and follow, and I will be making tons of fast, healthy recipes just like this one. All right, let's get started on this bright, healthy, delish dish. Now, part of what makes this recipe so fast and easy to make is the fact that everything goes into the skillet almost at the same time. And so to make sure that you are ready for that, it's important to get all of the ingredients and veggies prepped. So right now I am starting out by chopping the different things that I'm going to be stirring in with our pasta, starting with olives. Now I know that olives can be a little divisive, not everybody is super into them, but this is a Mediterranean pasta and olives are just such a classic Mediterranean ingredient. In this recipe they give a nice saltiness and earthy flavor. If you aren't a super fan of olives, you can always just leave them out. If you do decide to leave out the olives, what I definitely recommend is tasting the pasta and seasoning it with a little bit more salt. Because olives do add that saltiness, you might find that you're kind of missing it. So now, in addition to the olives, I am dicing up some artichokes. These are just canned artichokes, and actually the olives are canned too. That's part of what makes this pasta really convenient, is that you can kind of blend fresh ingredients with pantry staples. All right, moving right along. Now, I mentioned that this recipe is fantastic because it uses both fresh ingredients and pantry staples. One of those fresh ingredients is cherry tomatoes. I love using cherry tomatoes most of all, unless it is the height of summer, and that is because cherry tomatoes tend to taste pretty good year-round, whereas like a larger, kind of more beefsteak tomato, those really taste the best during the summer. In this recipe, these tomatoes are gonna add brightness, juicy pops of color, and a little bit of delicious natural sweetness. Just wanna cut them in half right through the middle, and then set those aside. I'm also going to add a few other ingredients that add a lot of brightness and freshness, starting with fresh parsley. I think parsley is a totally underrated and underappreciated herb. You know, a lot of the time we'll give attention to maybe rosemary and basil, and I love those herbs too, but there's just nothing like good old parsley. It's also super easy to find and very affordable too. So I'm just gonna give this parsley a rough chop. Doesn't have to be too perfect or anything. I think one of the great things about this dish is just kind of that it's really rustic and fresh and homey. Set my parsley aside so that I'm all prepped. And while I've been doing this, I actually have 6 ounces of whole wheat pasta that are cooking on the stove. So that should be done right around the time that I finish up with these ingredients. Now, the final ingredient that I want to have prepped in advance is Parmesan cheese. Now, I'm gonna get a little bit preachy about this and bossy, so just bear with me. I'm totally bossy. You can ask my younger sisters. But this one is really, really important. Do not buy the cans of Parmesan cheese. That stuff in the green can, that is not the same thing. What you'll find is the stuff in the can is usually coated with a powder to keep it from caking, and it just doesn't melt. It doesn't have that same nice, lovely saltiness that you'll get from grating your own cheese right off the block like this. And as a benefit, it actually can often be less expensive to grate your own cheese off the block too. This recipe is really simple. There aren't too many ingredients, and so that is part of what makes it really important to ensure that each one that you choose is good quality and really counts. And I, for one, always want to make the cheese count. And right about now, my pasta is done cooking, so I'm going to drain that and then show you how it all comes together in one pan. All right, so I have cooked and drained my pasta. I even get extra points because I remembered to save some of the pasta water. This is a great thing to do whenever you are making pasta in case you need to loosen up some of the sauce at the end. And now I am ready to bring all of our ingredients that we have prepped together. Now, to start out, I've had my pan heating over medium-high. I think a great way to take your home cooking to the next level is to make sure you always have your pan heated first. It's super simple, but super important. And I'm adding a generous amount of olive oil, a full 3 tablespoons Do not skimp here because this recipe doesn't have a lot of ingredients. Again, every single one of them is really important, and the olive oil is what's going to make the base for our sauce and just coat those noodles in its luscious flavor. Now that it is nice and warm, I'm going to add our cherry tomatoes. So these go right into the skillet. That is the sound of delicious. You want to let your cherry tomatoes cook just until they start to lose their firm shape and burst. That's going to take about 1 to 2 minutes. This is a fantastic recipe to make in the summer if you have a lot of extra tomatoes on hand. The tomatoes are going to kind of break down and they almost create a little bit of a sauce effect in the pasta themselves. It's just really lovely and fresh. Now that the tomatoes have started to break down a bit, I'm going to add my garlic. You don't want to add your garlic too early in a recipe because it can burn really quickly. And if you have burned garlic, it's going to create this bitter off flavor in your entire dish, and that is definitely not what we want. And then it also helps if you're adding the garlic when there's already other ingredients in the pan, like there are with this pasta. And the second the garlic becomes fragrant, which is right about now, it takes just 30 seconds, and it already smells like an Italian restaurant in here. I'm gonna add a few more ingredients to give this pasta great flavor. We've got salt and pepper. Cannot have a recipe without some good old S&P. Some crushed red pepper flake. You can add as little as a 1/4 teaspoon if you just want a slight bit of kick, or if your house likes it a little hotter like ours, you can take that up to 1/2 teaspoon or as much as you dare. Now, as you can see, our tomatoes are starting to break down here. A few of them are getting really juicy and kind of losing their firm shape. That is exactly what we want. And now it is time to add the pasta. This recipe is just flying. So here we go. I have 6 ounces of whole wheat fettuccine noodles. I love to use whole wheat pasta in my cooking. It is a great way to make any pasta just about into a healthy pasta because it adds important servings of protein and fiber. You can find protein and fiber in higher quantities in whole grains than you can in white noodles. And so it's just takes absolutely no extra effort on your part, and you're going to make your recipes a little bit better for you. I also find that if I don't tell people that I'm using whole wheat noodles, they don't even know. It can be your little secret. All right, and give these a big toss. Oh, I already want to dive in here with my fork. All right, time to add a few other ingredients that we have prepped. We have our olives. Those are going in with their salty, briny flavor. We have our artichokes. Give that a big toss. Look at all of the gorgeous colors in here. And now to give the pasta just real liveliness and lightness, I'm going to add some fresh lemon juice. So I'm gonna juice the lemon just right into my pasta. You want about a 1/4 cup, which is going to be about 1 medium lemon. If you like it super lemony, feel free to add in more. And you can always add the zest of the lemon for some additional lemon flavor too. As I'm tossing, I kind of want to take a look at this, and if it starts to get a little too sticky, that is where our pasta water comes in. It's getting a little dry, so I'm just going to splash in a tiny bit here, just enough to loosen the noodles right back up to where I want them. That looks fantastic. Okay, just 2 more things to add, and then we are ready to chow down. All right, we've got our fresh parsley. Look at that lovely burst of green. And of course we have the Parmesan. Cheese lovers, you can add as much as you want. I won't tell a soul, and I'll probably ask you to invite me over for dinner. Oh, would you look at this lusciousness. It smells amazing, and can you believe how freaky fast that was? This is quick enough for the craziest weeknight, but it tastes chic enough for date night. If you want more easy, healthy recipes like this one, be sure to subscribe, like, and follow, and you can grab the full recipe and so many more on my site, wellplated.com.